So this is going to get, I think, very interesting very fast because the government is determined to try and get some sort of deal done um, before the end of September. Now, of course, they're not going to get it through because the government has set three red lines, and the EU has basically said we will not compromise the integrity of the single market to suit you. You're the ones who are leaving. We owe you no favours whatsoever, and hence we will be treated as a third country from that point onwards, and that will have significant impacts on this country in regards to jobs, the economy, and a load of stuff besides, even stuff that we probably even haven't even thought about yet or even spoken about on this channel. And trust me, Brexit is going to have a ton of unintended side effects, and you know, we can only think of what those are going to be. But one thing that we've said constantly on this channel is Brexit is going to teach Britain's what its true place in the world is, because Brexiteers seem to think that the UK is this fantastic, wonderful superpower of a nation, and it's not in any way, shape, or form. It hasn't been there since for years, decades, and I'll tell you now, the British Empire isn't coming back, even though that seems to be the plan that many Brexiteers want to try and do. Want to try and do what's known as Empire 2.0, which again we've talked about before. But this today from The Independent, which I think sets out something quite interesting. So the title of the article is what kind of Brexit will we actually get? Boris Johnson has 10 options to ponder before the end of the year. So let's go through this and find out what 10 options these actually are. So the next round of technical negotiations on a Brexit trade deal begins soon. But to reverse the famous slogan, it's economics stupid, Brexit is pure, it's politics stupid. By the end of the year, with a political decision principally made by Boris Johnson and him alone, cabinet and government does not exist. The Commons is irrelevant, and it happened inside the Prime Minister's head, and it will what determine what the sort of Brexit we will get this year. Here are 10 political Brexits Mr. Johnson has to ponder before making his final decision. So, number 1, a Tory Brexit. The Conservatives finally won a big majority last December, for the first time since 1987. All Tory MPs owe Mr. Johnson their seats. Most of them believed in the past 15 years' worth of propaganda about the EU. But the Tory party is rooted in English capitalism, farming and commerce and the city. As long as Johnson delivers an end to the British EU treaty membership, and how many Tory MPs want the full Monty Brexit demanded by the septuagenarian generation of Tory anti-Eurosceptics like John Redwood, Bill Cash, and David Davis. If Johnson says if Johnson says he brings home what is a good Brexit, all Tory MPs will Tory MPs actually rise in revolt? 2. A Labour Brexit. The policy of Sir Keir Starmer is to say no to Brexit, see no Brexit, hear no Brexit. Labour hopes a hard Brexit or a WTO Brexit will lead to a massive queues at Dover and Calais as 10,000 lorries arriving each day with fresh food and most of what Britain imports queue for checks, leading to negative images on TV, shortages of goods, medicines, and giving the impression that Brexit equals chaos. And will Mr. Johnson offer Keir Starmer his political gift of a disruptive, chaotic Brexit? Who knows? 3. A business Brexit. Since 2016, the CBI and other businesses and trade federations, or the city, have kept under the duvet, refusing to challenge Brexit. But as the road hauliers and the National Farmers Union and importers face massive new paperwork problems, and the city loses more and more business as Britain's third country status cuts lucrative trade ties with the 27 EU countries, will British capitalism finally speak out? 4. A Scottish Brexit. Scots are furious that a southern elite English political class has denied Scots their rights to be European. Does Mr Johnson want to see an even bigger support for Scottish nationalists in next year's election to the Scottish Parliament and subsequent independence referendum that risk the end of the UK? 5. An Irish Brexit. Mr Johnson has already conceded that the six Brexit countries in the north of six British counties, shall we say, in the north of Ireland will have different trade rules to allow normal commerce with the Republic of Ireland. A hard Brexit will be a problem for the divorce between Ireland and all of England. 6. Dave Frost Brexit. In a paper written in 2015, the UK's chief Brexit negotiator, now Lord Frost, argued two essential requirements for a successful negotiation are, firstly, having allies, and second, making sure what you want seem normal. He also said that any Brexit negotiation had to be bipartisan. There is not much time for the Prime Minister to meet those requirements. 7. Joe Biden's Brexit. In 2016, we saw the birth of nationalist populist political Siamese twin, Trump and Brexit. If Biden wins the White House and one half of that Siamese twin is separated from the runt Brexit, Biden is no fan of Mr Johnson or nationalist populism. Does Mr Johnson want to bury the already asymmetric special relationship? 8. An expat Brexit. There has been a downplaying of the huge disruption to the life of up to 2 million Brits who brought in good faith a second or retirement home on the continent. Estate agents are still selling that dream of a life in the sun with cheaper wine and food. In fact, it will be impossible for Brits to spend more than 3 months consecutively living in Europe. With very big increases in health insurance and the astronomical old age care costs, many will miserably come home to Britain and be very angry about a hard Brexit. Number 9. A global Brexit. Ever since Suez, Britain's voice has been marginalised and maligned in world affairs, as a leading national shaping European-wide policy responds to different issues. We still have 40 Navy ships and 41 admirals, but there will be fewer British Army soldiers than new bureaucrats hired to handle the hundreds of millions of forms to be filled in to do trade with Europe as a third country. 10. Brexiternity. The hope that the European question is answered and the file will close on the 1st of January is a dream. Brexit, unless based on serious compromise, leaving key issues to decide at a later stage, will continue to be a big issue in British politics and in terms of our relations with our neighbours. Brexit is only just the beginning. And we've said this before, this is only just the beginning of the beginning. You know, Brexit hasn't really even started yet properly. It starts officially of January next year. And, you know, it's going to be an absolute disaster. So, these are Mr Johnson's political Brexit options, if he can find the spare time given all the other crises he has on his plate. Brexit will be about politics and requires political decisions of a high order, not technical fixes by trade negotiators. I agree. Brexit has always been political right from the start. Even though Brexiteers don't want to admit it, when you talk to them about trade and you bring up all the facts, they'll say it's not about trade, it's about something else, or it's about something else, it's about something else. And that's the typical Brexit supporter line. The Brexiteers, on the other hand, have never had to be really held to account. But from next year, they're going to be held to account moreover, because reality, they won't be able to escape it. We've said this before. Brexit is about this fantasy world that they imagine somehow exists. They've been told and it exists, but they can't prove it exists. They just say, oh look, there's a unicorn. And sooner or later, reality always wins. And reality is a very, very harsh mistress. So, thank you for watching today. We'll see you all next time, but please do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new to see more videos about British politics and Brexit and all the wonderful happenings around British politics. Trust me, at this moment in time, it's an absolute omnishambles, but it's wonderful in a way. You know, I laugh, but, you know, I'm living in this country. You might not be. But there you go. And if you do feel so inclined to support the channel in a different way, there are links down below to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link, should you like to make one. So, we'll see you all next time.